What is up, you guys? Welcome back, or welcome to the channel for the first time if it's your first time here. And today we are discussing monk mode, as you can tell by the title of the video. Now, monk mode, the first time I heard about it was from an entrepreneur named Iman Gadzhi. He's an entrepreneur. He is successful, very successful, and he discusses it. He discusses his routine and how it has allowed him to generate wealth at such a young age. I also heard Dr. Benjamin Hardy discussing it and how he originally heard it from somebody named Greg McKeown. I heard it from Iman. That is where I first heard about it. And since then, it has grown into a trend. I've seen it all around social media now. So we are discussing it today, and I'm going to give you my perspective on it, how you can use it to apply it into creating a great year for yourselves. Not only a year, but implementing into your life in general. Now, monk mode is a term used to describe a lifestyle or a way of living that is characterized by simplicity, minimalism, and self-discipline. It often involves setting strict rules and guidelines for oneself in order to achieve a specific goal or improve one's overall well-being. Examples of these may be limiting or eliminating certain types of food or social media, waking up at a specific time, or dedicating a certain amount of time to meditation or exercise each day. Some people use monk mode as a way to focus on productivity and self-improvement, while others may adopt this lifestyle to achieve a more contemplative and spiritual state. So the first thing I would recommend, and as you can tell, I had that Project 50, that's another trend that we've had on social media recently. It's very similar in a way. It's really boiling things down to the essentials. So first, take a look at your daily habits and routines. Are there any activities or distractions that are keeping you from reaching your goals? Maybe it's scrolling through social media for hours on end or eating too much junk food. Once you identify these habits, set rules for yourself to limit or eliminate them. Next, set a schedule for yourself. It can include waking up and going to bed at specific times, dedicating certain times to meditation or exercise, as we discussed, and setting time for specific tasks and projects. Also, make sure you're taking care of your physical and mental well-being. These are general principles that apply to this, and although it can sound restrictive, the results are well worth it. By simplifying your life and focusing on what's important to you, you'll be able to achieve more success and results in your life. And I am now going to give you my own version, how I'm implementing this, going into the year. We're at the end of January now, and I personally am going to be implementing a lot of this going into the next few months of the year, the beginning of the year. So with my version, the first thing I'm going to talk about is I have began doing what's called time chunking, time blocking. There's a time chunk. I call it time chunking. And I've gone through a lot of material in the past about how to better manage your time. But I've always ran into obstacles when I see that people have very strict management of their time. It almost always ends up that without that flexibility, you get off track of what you've written down, and then it's demotivating, it's discouraging. So what I've come across, and this has really helped me, I got this from somebody named Dane Macbeth, is he divides his day up into 3 chunks. And as you can see here, it might be reversed, but you can see I have the first chunk from 7 to 1, then from 1 to 7, and then the last chunk of the day is 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And what I do is I go throughout it. I might do this the evening before, or in some cases I do it the morning of. I do my coffee, I do my fast, I have going through this course, I have outlining this video here, and training. When I have everything outlined like this, it's within this block of time. So I'm not super limited. And even if I'm unable to complete a task that was, let's say, in the 7 to 1 segment, I can always complete it during the 1 to 7 segment. So I give myself flexibility, but I still hold myself accountable to what I have on this list. So it's been really useful for me to be able to use this particular technique or method as far as time chunking goes. Now, my training, I was doing body weight training only for a while, but now I've been going to the gym. So I do strength training. I also do cardio. My diet is somewhat low carb, but mainly focused on a good ratio of calories to protein. So I like to keep my calories as low as they can be. Not as low, but generally pretty low for the amount of protein that I would get. So for me, my maintenance calories are about 1,800 calories. I usually try to get 1,800 or more on days that I'm lifting and pushing myself. And then on days that I have less, I might even go underneath 1,800. I might go 1,600, somewhere around that range, somewhere between 1,500 range all the way up to maybe 22 to even on cheat days, I might even go to 2,500 calories. So that's what works for me, and that has allowed me to not only improve, but maintain a leaner physique. Everyone's gonna have their own idea of what types of food they feel the best on. And so having some sort of plan though, whether you're going paleo, whether you're trying carnivore diet has been very popularized right now. Whatever you're doing, just being aware and bringing that awareness to what you're eating will help. So now another part of what I'm doing is I have content. I'm working on my content. I'm working on creating reels, getting better at editing, getting better at posting, getting more consistent. And really a lot of what this comes down to is just cutting out distractions. I know that this is repetitive. You've heard this over and over, but a lot of the time, less is more, and you will know with yourself, what is it that's distracting you during the day? If you're working from home, it's so easy to get distracted during the day now because you have not only your cell phone, but you're able to access anything on the internet now. And so deep down for yourself, you know what's distracting you, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it is you are spending time watching TV, it could be pornography, it could be so many different things that we waste our time doing, right? And it's really about just eliminating these habits as they come up and bringing that awareness to them again. Now, one thing that helps with your mindset and shifting your mindset is when you have tasks that you're trying to complete, you want to shift from a mindset. A lot of the time we use this language that says, I have to do this. I have to go drop the kids off at school. I have to go to work today. I have to bring in my car to the mechanic. And the simple shift of shifting your language around so that you are able to not thinking that you have to do these things, because as soon as you have to do anything, that automatically creates resistance. That's how human nature is. As soon as anything that you take pleasure in doing, it could be going to the gym even, but as soon as you have to do it, let's say that you're training for some sort of strong competition, all of a sudden, a lot of the joy or a lot of the excitement that you had about doing that particular activity now becomes almost a chore. So one way to jiu-jitsu yourself out of this negative type of, oh, I don't want to have to do this, is instead of I have to, it becomes I get to. And it sounds very simple enough, but as soon as you shift your mentality around this, even as something simple as going to work, I get to go to work today. I get to work on my craft today. I get to work on my passions today. I get to push myself today at the gym. Or even as mundane as taking your car to the mechanic. Well, what if you didn't have a car? You wouldn't get to take your car to the mechanic and you wouldn't be able to get around. A lot of people with the kids thing, it's like, I have to take my kids. No, like, you get to take your kids to school. It's a privilege to be able to take your kids from school. There's a lot of people that want children that are unable to have them for whatever reason. There's some kids that can't be in school because they're disabled. There's a myriad of reasons why people would love to be in your situation that you have. And this applies to every situation. So that is a very helpful shift right there. Another thing, when you're adopting this mindset, right, and you are going into monk mode, that means you are limiting distractions, you are pursuing your purpose, and you are being effective at your purpose, and you are being efficient with your time, is to think about if you had, in every superhero story, there's always a villain, right? And the villain is working just as hard, if not harder, than the hero. And if you think about yourself, people compare themselves, right? Comparison, they say, is the thief of joy. That's what most people do, though, right? They compare themselves. You compare yourself to Justin Bieber. You compare yourself to Drake. You find these people online or in the public sphere and say, oh, well, they haven't had it so easy. They had a different circumstance. Well, that's true. Everybody is born with a different circumstance. But what you have the power to do is imagine that there is a version of yourself out there that is you, but is the version that does everything that they're supposed to do. So one example for this is, let's say that you are training in the MMA or UFC, and you have your enemy that you're fighting against, this guy that you are coming to train, that you're training against to fight. But so here's the thing, you know that he's out there training. You know that when it gets dark, when it gets nighttime, when it comes to his diet, he's probably dialed in. He's working on all these different things, and you now have the impetus underneath you, that fire underneath you, to do the same things, to take care of your diet, make sure you're getting enough sleep, go wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, get up when your alarm clock rings so that you can go and train, because you know you have to beat this guy. You have to beat this enemy that you have. But if you had this version of yourself, imagine that you have a twin out there that is doing every single thing, all of the habits that you say that you want to do, all the things that you've written down, all the little micro agreements and agreements that you make with yourself throughout the day. This version of yourself is doing them, and you have to outcompete him. You have to go against him. There's this version of yourself that's out there. He's like the villain of you. You are the hero, but this guy's out there working. All the times that you said that you made excuses, all the times that you're falling off your diet, falling off your training, falling off your routine, he's out there. He doesn't ever watch TV. He doesn't ever eat ice cream. He doesn't ever jerk off. He doesn't ever scroll on TikTok. He doesn't have time to scroll through Instagram. He never does those things. So when you think about you competing against him, that's going to light that fire underneath you. And that's also going to give you a great enemy, fictional enemy, for you to compete against, because this guy had all the same opportunities, or maybe not opportunities, at least that your previous self did. He had the same upbringing. He or she, they had the same upbringing, right? But they have just made all these choices. They continue to make these choices on a day-to-day basis. So that's one very powerful mindset tool that you can use in your arsenal to overcome this, oh, well, I can put it off till later. It's like that type of mentality, that type of thinking, there will always be an excuse as to why you can't do something. And I know this gets repeated a lot, but there's really truth to it. So not to sound like a broken record, but it is, this particular hack I have found to be very, very effective. So all of these things that you find yourself doing, whether it comes to watching TV or scrolling on social media, or any habit, eating, if you're prone to late night snacking or binge eating, or any of these things, having sweets at night, sweet tooth, or even during the day, let's say you make an agreement with yourself that says, I can't do this until I do this. Because you know that version of yourself is out there and they're just outworking you all the time, but they're like a machine, right? So you still want to enjoy your life. So you say, okay, well, I won't be able to eat my cheeseburger or eat my ice cream until I complete everything that I have on my list today to complete. And then when you make that agreement with yourself, you have to stick to it. And that's going to build more and more confidence. The more and more that you do what you say, you are building more and more confidence and self-respect with yourself. So that's a big key as well, as far as your mindset goes. Now, as far as your actual work, your actual things that you can do, tangible things that you can make that make a difference. Andrew Huberman, who is a professor at Stanford, who has a great podcast that I listen to, shares a lot of useful information about expanding your human potential, living up to your human potential. He brings up the fact that when you're looking down, you're more prone to become tired. When you're looking up, it makes you more alert. So if you have a desk setup, if you're working at a desk, that's something to take note of. Try to set up your desk so that your workspace, your computer, whatever it is that you're doing, is above, at least at eye level, if not above, so that you're not looking down and hunched over. It's bad for your posture as well. It's much better for your posture to be looking at least at eye level or above, and it will keep you in a more alert state. If you are feeling fatigued and tired during the day, I would also, something that I've done and incorporated was getting my blood work done. When I got my blood work done, I found out I was dangerously low in vitamin D, which has other downstream negative effects. My cortisol levels were off. Homocysteine needed improvement. And so my doctor gave me some supplements to take, and I started feeling much better. So if you notice that you are feeling fatigued, I would strongly recommend getting your blood work done. Usually at a functional medicine doctor, they're much more willing to get an extensive panel done, rather than if you go to a lot of doctors, they tell you, oh, you don't need that, you don't need this. But that's, they're not really getting the whole story when they do such minimal. You want to get your hormones, you want to get all of these things checked. So I previously posted a review of Gorilla Dream, and that product did wonders for my sleep. That is released by Derek from More Plates, More Dates. He has a YouTube channel that's pretty popular. Unfortunately, it's been out of stock for a while now, so I'm going to try another one called Insomnitol. And let me know if you guys would like to see reviews of things that I feel like are helpful. That could be one of them, is supplements. Sleeping is so important. It is your recovery. And if you're not getting their good enough sleep or a peaceful night's sleep, it is going to impact your day and your performance throughout the day. So another thing I use is collagen. That can be helpful. And if you are a male, talking about your hormones again, I would strongly recommend looking into an herb called Tongkat Ali. I personally used this, and I took my testosterone levels. They were in the 500 range up till into the 800s just by taking this. So that was like a 300-point increase or more. And I noticed a big difference in the way that I felt as well. And taking care of your hormones, if you're a woman, it would be different what you'd want to do. But whether you're a male or a female, your hormone optimization and regulation is very, very vital to the way that you feel. So anyways, I don't want to make this video too long, but these are just some of the things that I'm incorporating into my 2023 and into my year here and into the following months to come. These are different things that I know are going to set me on a path that is going to be productive for me. These are different tools that I'm using to keep myself staying productive, whether that's the mindset stuff, whether it's the physical things. And another thing that can be useful is keeping yourself accountable by having the right people around you. And that's a whole nother discussion. But let's say that it's great having this community on here. Everybody that comes here and posts comments, I love reading the comments on here. Being around people that are supportive, that are positive, that want you to be the best version of yourself, that want to see you accomplish your goals is going to be very, very powerful. That could also be something as simple as joining a Discord group. If you don't have those circle of people around you, unfortunately, a lot of people find themselves surrounded by people that don't necessarily have the same vision or the same zest for life, that want to become this best version of themselves. They're kind of more complacent. They're kind of just more going with the flow type of people. And if you want to be around other people that are motivating and that are keeping you on track, that can be very, very helpful. Another thing I've been doing is using an Apple Watch. This tracks my calories that I'm using throughout the day, so it's very helpful for that. And I get to keep track of that with my partner, Devin, and she has been doing that as well. And again, it's very motivational to have somebody else doing the same thing, pursuing a similar or the same type of goal as you are. And you're able to just bounce off of each other and use that to fuel each other and encourage each other. One thing that I can recommend, if any of you are interested in content creation in particular, like I said, I got this, and productivity, content creation and productivity. I got this time chunking method from a guy named Dane Macbeth, and he has a YouTube channel. He also has a creator course, Getting Paid to Create course, which I am now a part of. I'm working, like I said, on my content, and I'm going to be working on improving my content this year. If anybody's interested in creating content, upping the level of the quality of your content, of your editing, check out his course. I will link it below in the description, the description. And other than that, guys, it's all up to you. We can watch tons of videos about this, and videos can be useful and they can motivate you, and they definitely can. If you want to wake up in the morning and play a motivational video that gets you going, that I love doing that. I've been utilizing that. But ultimately it comes down to, are you keeping yourself accountable? Are you writing things down? Are you keeping track? Because if you can't track your progress, you have no way of knowing if you're making improvements. Track your progress. See what areas you know with yourself that you're slacking on. What is it? Where are you wasting your time? Is it Netflix? Is it any of these things? Get rid of the distractions and then fulfill your day. Organize your day, structure yourself so that you have a morning time that you wake up, a time that you go to sleep. And I know it can sound restrictive, but trust me, these things, if you really use them, if you start with these small changes and see how you feel, you might be surprised at how much of a difference it can make. It sounds restrictive, but the results are worth it. And by simplifying your life on what's truly important to you, you will be able to achieve more success and results in your life. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you found this useful. And if you have any questions, any commentary about monk mode, about my personal routine, or just in general want to share any thoughts, feel free to drop your comments down below. I would appreciate it, in fact. Drop this video a like if you found it helpful, and hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and you are on the path to becoming the better version of yourself that you can this year. The more optimized, the version of yourself who you've always wanted to be. And that way you won't miss future videos. And anyways, without dragging this video on too long, thank you for watching again. Hit the subscribe, and I love you guys. I will see you guys very, very soon.